Hi everyone, and welcome to this video on applying to university, the personal statement. In this short presentation, we're just going to be taking you through things to include in the personal statement, some changes coming to the personal statement, what makes a successful personal statement, as it's definitely something that takes up a big chunk of your application. So here are the facts as they stand for 2025 entry for the personal statement. So the personal statement is 4,000 characters long, that's the limit, which is approximately 47 lines, including spaces. So it's not words, it's characters. So yeah, spaces, commas, all those things. There's no formal structure to the personal statement, no structure that UCAS specifically say you have to have. At Sussex, we sort of recommend you spend sort of 30% of your statement talking about your skills, the skills that are going to help you on your degree, that are relevant for your course, and 70% on why this course. But every university might recommend different things, but that's generally what we recommend. There's no spelling or grammar check in the UCAS form either, so we do also recommend that you write your personal statement on something else. This could be, Microsoft Word or Google Docs, just so you can check your spelling, and then copy and paste it into the UCAS form. And our admissions team read every personal statement, so you need to make sure there's some originality and flair to that statement. With regards to what to include, I've put a few suggestions on this slide. So you can talk about things like work. This could be work that you're currently doing, any part-time work you might have. If you're talking about part-time work, don't feel like you have to try and make it super relevant to the course that you want to do. For example, you could be, currently in a waitress job or a waiting job. Don't feel like you have to try and link what you do in that job to your degree. You can talk about the transferable skills that you've got from that job instead. Equally, if you've got really relevant work experience, then we definitely want to hear you talk about that in your personal statement. Think about any career plans that you have. For example, are you doing this degree because it's going to help you sort of get into a certain career when you graduate? Are you doing law because you want to become a solicitor? You can definitely mention that. What makes this degree program interesting to you? I think one of the best things to use when writing your statement is the university web pages. So looking at what modules they teach on it and seeing in your 5 choices, do any of those have the same modules? So in that way, you can sort of target it to those 5 choices without specifically saying, I want to go to this institution. And what makes it interesting is there anything being taught in that degree that you've already covered? What do you want to study and why? That's really what we're looking for in your statement. We want it to be clear what you're going to study and why you want to study it. If you're struggling to answer the why part of that question, then it might be a case that you need to rethink like what you want to do, because it shouldn't be too difficult to think of why you want to do that course at uni. Also think about what work you are most proud of. Why are you most proud of it? Have you, won any awards for anything? Are you currently doing an EPQ? Have you got your grade back for that EPQ? Are you proud of that? You can talk about those. Have you done any learning outside of the school or curriculum? So these things are often referred to as supercurricular activities. So things that go above and beyond what you're currently doing in your A-levels. So you might have learned something on your A-levels if you're doing that course. That's led you to research that further or question something that you've learned in your studies. This could be something like you might have watched a documentary, you might have gone to a museum, you might have attended a lecture, you might currently be undertaking an online course. These are all things that we want to hear about in your statement. But it's not a case of just listing them. It'd be a case of saying sort of what you learned from that, why it's going to help you on your degree. Extracurricular activities, are you sort of doing any sports? What do you enjoy outside of learning? And this doesn't have to be a super massive section, but it is nice to hear about. And any academic stuff as well. So a lot of people will talk about their current A-levels and how they relate to their chosen course, but don't feel like you have to mention every A-level. We do know what A-levels you are doing because they are on your UCAS application. Don't feel like you have to speak about every A-level, especially if you have more relevant things to talk about. Other things you can mention are those transferable skills. So there's loads of transferable skills you've probably built up over time through things like your studies or part-time work. For example, if you currently are in sort of hospitality, working in hospitality, you might have really great communication skills, really great teamwork skills. You might even have a managerial sort of position like a team lead role, and got really great leadership skills. In your studies, you would have had to have managed your time effectively to meet deadlines. You might even have great computer literacy. You might have had a role of responsibility during your sort of school experience or part-time work, and these are all things that you need on a degree, so it's great to hear about those in your statement as well. Moving on to things to consider, these are sort of 4 things we want you to consider when you're writing your statement. Number 1, imagine who is reading your statement. So the person reading your statement is probably going to be from admissions. They probably will know quite a lot about that subject, so be careful with the content that you're putting in, making sure that it's factually correct. But also they would have read thousands and thousands of statements, so you need yours to be original, to stand out. We want to hear about why you personally want to do that degree. Also proofread, the difference of you getting made an offer could well be that you've made a silly spelling mistake. So proofread, get your teachers to read it, get your friends, get your parents or guardians to read it. You can even get the computer to read it back to you, or your laptop to read it back to you, if you so wish. The more people that proofread it, the better. And stay positive. We don't want any negativity creeping into your statements. And there are also some things to avoid. So number 1, do not mention any specific institutions. This happens more frequently than you'd probably think, but you are applying for 5 universities on UCAS. All the universities you're applying to will see the same statement. You cannot send different statements to different universities. So it's one statement to all 5 universities. So if you mention that you really want to go to the University of Sussex in your statement, all those other universities will look at your statement and think, why would you want to come here then? So don't do that. Equally, don't mention sort of a specific course if you're applying for more than one course. I would probably recommend applying for the same course, if not similar courses, rather than picking 5 completely different courses, because that's going to be really hard to write a sort of targeted and tailored personal statement. Don't go mad with the thesaurus, so you don't have loads of words. You only have 4,000 characters. It's not that many. So you need to work on being concise, and that might be a case of removing those adjectives and those describing words. And it's a really important skill to practice. Being concise is something that you need throughout your degree. So if we can see that in your statement, that looks great. Don't include irrelevant information. So don't feel like you have to include every single bit of work that you've done, every A-level that you've completed, especially if you're really struggling to think of how it links to your degree. We'd rather hear about the things that are relevant to your degree than like tenuous links. Finally, don't exaggerate or lie. Equally, don't copy and paste. Don't type something into ChatGPT and copy and paste it. UCAS has a plagiarism checker, and anything that sort of plagiarised will get flagged to the university and they may withdraw your offer. Finally, please ignore this if you are applying for 2025 entry. This is for 2026 entries and beyond, possibly. So in 2026, the personal statement will be changing. Instead of one sort of essay, it will be broken down into 3 sections. This is just to help you guys write the statement a bit more and know what you need to put into that statement. So it's a minimum of 350 characters per section. UCAS are recommending that you use a point, evidence, explain, link structure for the points that you're raising. And there's no opening or no need for an opening or closing statement. That statements are probably put in now. There's also no line count, but the 4,000 character count remains. So you still only have 4,000 characters for your statement. With regards to what those 3 sections are, the first section is why do you want to study this course or subject? And as I said, that shouldn't be a super difficult question to answer. And if it is, it might be worth reconsidering a different course. How have your qualifications and studies helped you prepare for this course or subject is the second section. And this is really assessing sort of, if you're currently in education, the current A-levels that you're doing, or the education that you've had previously. If you're in work at the moment, then it'd be asking you about kind of your work experience, also maybe previous academic experience. And then your third section is what else have you done to prepare outside of education and why are these experiences useful? So this is really asking you about your extracurricular and your supercurricular activities. So as I mentioned, things like, have you gone to any museums? Have you written any poetry? It depends on your subject, obviously. But you need to be thinking about why these experiences are useful. I think a common mistake in personal statements is a lot of people just list all the extra things that they've done, but they don't really explain how that experience is going to be useful for you in that degree. So those are the changes coming to the personal statement. The guides on UCAS at the moment are for 2025 entry, just to avoid confusion with 2026. But once all those entries have been made, they will update their website to include this information about 2026 entry. And that's everything from me about personal statements. But if you do need more information, you can visit our website at sussex.ac.uk/study/applying. And you can also talk to our students and staff on UniBuddy and follow us on the social media platforms listed. Other than that, thank you for listening and good luck to all of you who are currently writing your personal statements.